Another key benefit of mindfulness that has particular implications for teaching and education is resilience to stress. The benefits of being focused in education are obvious, right? Talking about readiness for learning, being able to absorb information and retain it, all of that is quite clear, both for ourselves as instructors and for sharing those skills with students. When students learn mindfulness, they're able to focus better, to learn better. Resilience to stress allows us to bring our best self into the classroom. I'm not sure what it's like in South Korea, but here in the United States, teaching is challenging. Kids are under so much pressure today. Schools are often underfunded. Teachers are underappreciated. It's stressful. Oftentimes, teachers are managing classrooms that are fairly large. So having more resilience to stress, being able to bounce back, to not get so caught up in everything, allows us to really teach as best as we can and to be available for the children, the teens, and adolescents that we're working with. And being able to share those skills with students allows them as well to have more resilience. One of my favorite quotes about resilience is from the American author Annie Lamott, who said, "Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you." So one of the things that formal mindfulness training does is it allows us to step back and unplug from our life for a little bit. It's like giving your brain a rest, being able to rest our attention with something simple like the breath or sounds or the body, and take a break from the incessant busyness and activity of our own minds. How does mindfulness strengthen resilience? Well, we learn how the mind creates extra stress by observing how it functions in mindfulness practice. We see how our reactions and judgments create more turmoil inside. Not only that, every time our mind wanders, when we let go and bring it back to, say, the breath or whatever object of meditation and mindfulness we're practicing with, that in and of itself is a transferable skill, the ability to let go and begin again. How many times a day do we need to let go and begin again? How many times a day do we need to encourage and support our students to learn how to let go and begin again, how to start over? Mindfulness practice teaches us to do this in a very deep way, to be able to let go with joy even, with a sense of lightheartedness. It's part of the process of learning. It's part of being alive, having to begin again. It's important for me here in talking about resilience to stress to acknowledge that stress is not just an individual problem. There are structural reasons in our communities, in our society, in our schools that lead to stress. And so developing more skills personally, internally to handle stress is, of course, not enough. There are things that we all can do together to help change the systems that we live within to be able to have more supportive, human-centered institutions. So having more funding for our schools, having smaller classrooms, having more support for teachers, all of these are structural ways to address stress. And in the meantime, there are, of course, certain stressors in life and at work that we can't change, that are beyond our control. And those things perhaps are always going to be stressful. But what we can shift, what we can change, is how we relate to those stressors, the amount of reactivity we experience inside. Mindfulness helps us to understand and observe our own reactions to things so that, for example, getting stuck in traffic on your way to work doesn't need to be such a stressful event. We're able to relax and let go and allow things to be. when we recognize that it's out of our control. One of the best ways to do that is by taking short moments of mindfulness throughout your day. Again, I've never been to South Korea, so I don't know what the schools are like. But if they're anything like school and education here, where I'm familiar with in the United States, the day is very full, there's a lot on your plate, working with kids is innately stressful. And if we don't have a way to recharge, to let go, to renew ourselves, we come to the end of the day and we can be exhausted, totally drained. So having short moments of mindfulness throughout the day, being able to close your eyes and just take a breath or two, can help us keep from accumulating so much stress throughout the day. Another very important way that mindfulness helps increase resilience to stress is by noticing the aspects of our experience that are nourishing. So far we've been talking about resilience to stress by focusing on that which is stressful and shifting our relationship to it, not getting as caught up in it, not reacting to it or resisting it. Another very important part of resilience is being able to notice and really take in that which is nourishing and good in our life and in our day. So mindfulness helps us to begin again. Mindfulness helps us to not have such a strong reaction to stress. It also allows us to notice the things that are going well, the things that are beautiful, the things that we enjoy. This scroll behind me was a gift to me from my wife's family. Her father is from China and was an art collector. And this particular scroll is about 100 years old. It was painted in the early 1920s. And if I'm not mindful, I can forget to really see it and take in its beauty. When I'm present and mindful, I look at the scroll and something relaxes inside. It reminds me of my connection with my wife's family, of my appreciation for Asian culture and art. And the beauty of the image relaxes me. So, noticing ordinary experiences of pleasure, enjoyment, happiness, or connection throughout our day improves our resilience. When we're mindful, we're more present, and we don't take our life as for granted. We notice the beauty of the sky, the smell of the air, the gift of being able to drink a glass of water. And we can really be present for those experiences. My friend and colleague Rick Hansen, who is a mindfulness teacher, author, and neuroscientist, he talks about a practice of taking in the good for 20 seconds. So anytime you notice something in your experience that's nourishing, that's enjoyable and pleasant, see if you can linger there for just 20 seconds and allow it to really fulfill you. Let it saturate or really soak into your whole mind and body. In other words, receive the benefit of that pleasant experience. This will in time improve and enhance your resilience. So mindfulness is doing two things there. One, it's helping us to notice the beauty, the goodness in our life. If we're not mindful, we're just on automatic, kind of going through things, and we miss those experiences that could otherwise be nourishing. So it helps us to notice them. And then as we notice it, if we're able to just linger there for 20 seconds, being fully present, mindfulness helps us to absorb and receive the goodness of that experience.